my number. Let me count this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. My 7th favorite game too. It's The Witcher 3, as you mentioned. Just made the list too because it's, as you said, the best RPG open world, third person experience out there as of now, right? Yeah. And I know it's unfair maybe for older games, for games that came before, games like, I don't know, like Skyrim or Fallout, even though some of them are, both of them are first person. But, the way The Witcher 3 did it, the not just in terms of gameplay and in terms of story, but also in terms of richness, of life in the game, of everything the NPCs have to offer in terms of their realities, their stories, their own different little ways and tweaks and things that they had that make them unique. Every other major character that has its own personality, its own traits, its own things that you have with them that you either loved or hate. This entanglement of relationships that you were able to craft. Yeah. This quest system that really felt more like an organic story rather than just generic side quests. All of these things, all of them made The Witcher 3 a much better game to me than the experience I had, for instance, with Skyrim, right? Where in Skyrim, I couldn't care any less for the main story.
I've heard that complaint from many people. Definitely.
Or Fallout 4, where it's sort of the same thing. It's a little bit more engaging, but also it's the only fault I can find in Fallout 4's, time in this world, is that it came too close to The Witcher 3.
Okay.
And by that, it's, in a way...
It can't avoid comparisons.
Exactly,
with the game.
Yes. Yeah. It for me, at least, it has to live up to its shadow, right? To The Witcher's shadow. So, that's why The Witcher 3, right now, for me, it's that important. It's a game that I really dwelled myself into and really invested myself into in a way that I usually don't with new franchises for me, because I played the 3 Witcher games like in a span of 2 years or something like that.
Okay.
So I invested myself from 0 to 100 very fast with these characters, with Geralt of Rivia and with Triss and with Jennifer and with all of these characters that I love. That's why The Witcher 3 is on the list. Number 6 is Snake Eater, just like you, Metal Gear. Metal Gear is another series, another franchise that I really got into very fast and very strongly.
Yeah, same for me, definitely.
It was, I think I can't really remember if it was because of you or if...
I think we were both trying to get into the franchise at the same time. But I do remember that I played this game that I played 3, Snake Eater, before you did. But like a week before you did, something like that. But at that moment you were already playing. I think it was either 1 or 2. And at the moment when I finished 3,
it'll be 2.
and I was pressuring you to get on with those quickly.
Yeah,
3
and
is
play 3. Yeah, you're right. That. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, it was that kind of game that I really, as you mentioned, wanted to get into because it's really historic, right? It's pop culture by now. Snake and all its
Big Boss.
It's Big Boss and right, exactly. So. I wanted to get into it. I got into it, and I just fell in love. Right, with the first game was amazing, and I mean, putting myself in that time period, not hours per se, but the time period the game came out, and understanding that all of those mechanics that they were introducing were new and shiny and different and unique, and then moving on to Metal Gear Solid 2, which wasn't that good in my honest opinion, at least for me. And then jumping from there to 3, expecting a lot because of you, right? Because you told me it was a great game, and I went up hyped and scared that it wasn't gonna live up to the hype, and being completely wrong about it, being absolutely blown away by the game, loving it to death, and to date, I still think it's a much better game than Metal Gear Solid 4. And even the Phantom Pain and all the other games in between, right? The Peace Walker and whatnot.
It's one of the few games where that I've ever played where the moment the credits start to roll in, you really want to stand up and just applaud.
Clap, yeah.
It's wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's. I mean, if you don't feel anything when the credits roll in, you have no heart, man. It's
yes. Yeah. I agree.
It just hits you as a human being, so tough. It's
I
wonderful.
agree. It really is.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
And that's what I hate about 5. That this game, Snake Eater, it's crafted in a way that it's not just the ending or the beginning of it. It's the whole build up of the story.
It's a magnum
complemented by amazing gameplay. That exactly. And it's such a great piece of art that I really love.
It's a piece of art.
Yeah.
You just you hit the nail right.
Yeah. Lots of games should really take Snake Eater as a template almost as an example, right, of how to make a game with a great story and with great gameplay itself.
It's an experience. It's a visual interactive experience. That game.
Yeah. I agree. So that's number 6, I think.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Majora's Mask.
Oh.
Yeah. Legend of Zelda.
Oh, I forgot you love this game so much.
I really do. I've mentioned to you and to a lot of people that I'm really a sucker for
dark.
Yes, exactly. To sequels that are much more darker in tone, be it any type of game, right? I also love Echoes because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But Majora's has something else, something special that really brings my favorite game, which I'm gonna get to in a couple numbers. And brought it to a new place, universe, tone, mentality, ideology, everything. It changed everything by keeping everything the same at the same time. And it's a very different... The gameplay itself, it's the same, almost the same. But the story that it tells, it's a much different one with very different motivations and very different, things and thematics that I really like and I love, and that's why Majora's is so special to me. It's the perfect sequel to an amazing game.
It's a very special and unique sequel.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I agree.
Then on number 4, I've got Metroid Prime. Because, as you mentioned, it needs no introduction. Prime is, to date, I think it's still one of the best adventure games out there. The best exploration-heavy game.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, only fighting with itself, right? Only fighting with Echoes and maybe Corruption and maybe games that are still in the same franchise, even some of the 2D games.
It's mind blowing to me that a game that nobody had any expectations for and that everyone was scared about when it was about to release it has divided the fan base between Prime and Super Metroid as the best game in the franchise.
Absolutely.
And I can see why. I mean, both games are phenomenal in their own way, and it's an achievement for Prime to have done that. And props to Retro Studios for doing such a fantastic job.
An amazing job. Yeah, especially because it's a game that came out in 2001. And it was, the capabilities of the console of the GameCube in that time. You see them now in hindsight, and you can. It's really unfathomable how they managed to bring that amount of detail and things into the game.
Yeah, just imagine, man. It was a series that was in 2D, a series that defined a genre.
That's true. It jumped,
and then it jumps. It skips an entire generation of consoles.
Yeah.
Then it comes back, and it's third person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's first person.
Yeah.
And whoa, in that time period when Halo came out.
Yeah.
That's scary, right?
Yeah.
It's first person. It's the first one done in the West. It wasn't made by Nintendo.
Exactly, yeah. Retro Studios.
It's done by an unknown studio in Texas.
At the time, yeah.
So
yeah.
It's a formula for disaster.
Exactly, yeah. Everything pointed to it being a mess, a disaster, but it wasn't. And it was
the same thing for
an
GoldenEye.
amazing thing. Yeah, that's true.
GoldenEye. 2 games that everything pointed towards a disaster, and out of that came 2 of the best
games ever made.
Yeah. It was funny.
Funny thing. And that's very, very thought-provoking. Yeah. But yeah, Prime is, and it also means a lot to me because it was one of the first games that I started to play when I was really getting into that, very heavy hardcore gamer phase. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's an amazing game that I'm always gonna remember.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. As well as Echoes. Echoes also has a great mention here in my heart. Then Banjo-Kazooie as well, because Banjo it's an amazing game for entire different reasons. Like I don't know, the tone of that game. It's not what I usually like. I usually like more grounded, serious, darker stories, darker motives, and whatnot. And the Banjo-Kazooie series, Banjo-Tooie 2 and in general rare games, not all of them, but most of the games that came out at this time, right? Conquer and all these other games, they were more lighthearted, but in a way that was very well crafted, well done, very fun games to play. These are the type of games that you can really laugh yourself off by playing them and then enjoying them in a way that's rememberable. Yeah. And I don't know, Banjo-Kazooie really, really made my Sunday mornings every Sunday, every week of every year for like 3 years. Yeah. That's the only thing I played, Banjo-Kazooie, and it was so fun, so good, so clever, so, everything was great about that game.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Which is why I'm in love with it. Also, DK64 was also a very good one with a very cool, similar, comic tone to it. Yeah. Also made by Rare. Jesus, Rare, it's amazing.
Yeah, they are.
Was. Hopefully, it still will be. Number 2, this one's the one we have, a big difference gap with. Ooh. Halo 3.
Oh, right.
Yeah, right. Halo 3, it's... Yeah. This is the game changer for me. Halo 3, made me jump from, being a Nintendo and PS, PlayStation guy
to an Xbox.
To an Xbox dude with, it was this time in my life when I was like growing and changing, and I entered my teenage
Discovering
years.
yourself.
I discovered myself with Master Chief and Cortana and whatnot. I'm kidding. But yeah, I mean, this was not just the jump from, one platform to the next, but also the jump from, like solo on home play to the multiplayer,
to the social,
to the online multiplayer, side of things that really, really marked a big change in my life, right? Yeah. Because a lot of my gaming habits, a lot of my gaming preferences and gaming ideas changed when this concept was, brought to the table. It obviously was not brought with Halo 3, but it was my first time playing a multiplayer game that you could connect with someone else in the rest of the world and play with them, which was amazing. And then on top of that, the game was, in my opinion, it has an amazing story, an amazing way of telling it, a very profound, sense of storytelling. Maybe not in terms of how good the story is, but how it's told. And how, it's incorporated into the game itself with, in-game cinematics and whatnot. So, I don't know, it really, really changed a lot of my gaming ways. This is the first game that I played on its entirety on my own, and then with four friends, and really, passed the entire thing. And I don't remember if it wasn't Legendary. Maybe it was. It might have been.
I hope so.
and then even going further past Legendary, because achievements were a new thing in my life too.
Yeah, and it was during a time period where achievements meant a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was a time period when if I had more achievement points than you did at a game, then it was humiliation for you.
Exactly. Yeah. You really, achievement hunters were a real thing. You really wanted to have every achievement you could.
Nobody cares right now.
No, nobody. Exactly. It's
But at the time, it was a serious thing. It was serious business.
So serious that I remember this one time. There was this one achievement where you had to play the last level, the last mission in Legendary with a skull that the skulls are modifiers that allow you to change bits and pieces of the game. This one skull though, if you were playing solo and you died, you needed to restart the whole level. And if you were playing with friends and any one of them died, you restarted from a checkpoint, which is not as terrible, but it's still very annoying because there's 4 of you and there's a lot of enemies and anything can kill you.
And shit blowing up.
Yes, exactly. So you needed to do that, pass a level, and not just pass it, not just, accomplishing the mission, but also this one last mission you needed to, it's half the mission on foot, fighting regular soldiers and having a little mini boss battle. And then you grabbed a Warthog, the vehicle, the main vehicle in the game, and you drove all the way to the end of a cargo ship and landed in there.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was a very hard thing to do with the Warthog.
And in Legendary.
The achievement in Legendary, and the achievement dictated that you needed to do it using 4 ghosts, which in Halo 3, the ghost is an alien ship, a small alien ship, a one-person vehicle that's not as mobile and as as agile as the Warthog, or as fast as the Warthog was. So you needed to pass the game on 4 of those, your 4 friends, and in Legendary with Iron Skull on. And man, I don't remember having such a hard time getting something in a game before in my life. But also, I don't remember doing something that hard and having so much fun doing it, because there was not a single time that anyone in the lobby was angry or mad or sad. We were just having fun. It was such a great time, and that's Halo 3 for me. That's what it means.
And did you got the achievement?
Of course we did. Yes, of course. It took hours and hours and hours of tries, but we got it, and it was the best feeling that you could get out of a game.
I'm gonna verify that.
Yeah, check it.
I'm gonna check it.
It's there. And yeah, it was amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have great memories from that game. And finally, Ocarina of Time. You all the guys know I have a video in the channel saying why I love this game. It's my favorite game of all time, and it's an amazing game. Yeah,
and that's
it. Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, and my honorable mentions really are just Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, because
for Modern Warfare,
it was like the same thing with Halo in terms of the multiplayer things, but just a step further, a little bit more.
Yeah, that's an honorable mention for me as well. I forgot.
Sonic Adventure 2, which was the multiplayer game that I used to play with my cousins.
Wow,
and
that's
whatnot.
another one. Okay.
Yeah, I really like it, and the story is very cool too. It's a very nice. I love Shadow the Hedgehog. I love.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. So it's right there with them, and of course Mass Effect 2.
Definitely.